this is Professor Langmeyer, and this week you learned about fats in your textbook. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about were different kinds of fats. As you've read, the fats that have a tight bond, each carbon molecule is surrounded by a hydrogen, makes a very tight saturated fat. Those are the fats that are the most dangerous. Those are the ones that we try to alleviate from our diet so that we will be having less clogged arteries. And so the switch to create healthier fats is what food scientists are on right now. If you've ever had Crisco, the solid Crisco oil, that is called a hydrogenated oil. It originally started out as a vegetable oil, which was a pourable blend, and then in a lab they compacted more hydrogen, thus hydrogenation, and it became a solid. They thought, wow, that's the greatest invention since sliced bread. We have grandma's old version of almost like lard content, which lard is the fat from an animal, which we now know is very concentrated, saturated, very hard on blocking of our arteries. So when they created the Crisco oil, they thought they had a great alternative to grandma's lard because it was a vegetable blend, which was healthier. It was unsaturated, but it had the solid consistency. We now know that hydrogenated oils, which are used a lot in the baking industry, are now thought to be about as unhealthy as the saturated oil. So there is a move and a push to get them out of the market. In the meantime, there has not been a replacement. So they're not totally off of the market. So we have to watch the amount of baked goods that we use because they oftentimes will create and contain hydrogenated oils. The oils, as you've read about, that are the healthier oils are those oils that are less saturated or unsaturated, where every carbon molecule is not connected to a hydrogen. It's a looser bond. There might be a double, an area where it's going to be looser, and therefore, as you looked in your book, they had the line of fat. It's a kinked one. It's not solid. It's not connected. And the looser it is, the more kinks, the turns it is. And so thus, polyunsaturated, having many unsaturated carbons, mono, having one less hydrogen molecule, and so on. So the whole idea is to try to find healthier fats that will not clog our arteries, that will not increase our cholesterol. You also should have picked up that cholesterol is not always considered a negative thing. We need some cholesterol for our hormones to be able to operate. So we don't want to alleviate cholesterol totally, but we have to limit the amount that we are getting. So if you are someone who is like me, I have a sweet tooth, I like to bake, I like to eat sweets, but I know that the hydrogenation and the fats are things we need to watch. So giving you a little tip today. Actually, if we had aromatherapy, you could smell my house now. Smells like a chocolate brownie. I made brownies, but you can make brownies in a healthier way. And I'm going to tell you a little tip. So this is a box mix of brownies, which you could just go out and get. And I encourage you to try this experiment on your family this week. Let me know back in forum for the week if you tried it and how did they like it. Did they even notice a difference? Or were you able to tell them you were finding a healthier way to eat a dessert? So you're going to take this, and you're going to, this particular recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of water, half a cup of vegetable oil, and 2 eggs. So we're going to take that half a cup of vegetable oil out. And instead of using the pourable vegetable oil, what could we use that could be healthier? And you might have heard of some of these things. So I'm going to share some with you and try them. You can almost substitute the same amount. So if it says a half a cup of oil, you could use a half a cup of this replacement. So let me give you some ideas of some replacements. So one of the things you could do is you could use applesauce. And you want to use the unsweetened applesauce, otherwise it will give it a different flavor. So the unsweetened applesauce, you would use about a tablespoon less than the a third a cup, the half a cup, 1 tablespoon less than 1/2 of a cup. And you might taste a little bit of apple taste, but if you don't tell people about it, they may not pick up on it. It will be a little bit fudgier type of thing. It'll be a little runnier. So that is a replacement, a healthier replacement. You're cutting out lots of calories and you're making it a healthier version. Another thing you could use is yogurt. The same amount of fat, the half a cup, you could use a half a cup of yogurt. And I've even tried it where I've done the chocolate flavored yogurt, just so that you get the chocolate flavor is not going to be reduced at all. Another thing that you might have heard before, because it's been around for many generations, is taking a banana. You could use about a half a banana for the half a cup replacement. Now what you'll need to do with a banana is you will need to mash it. So actually the riper the banana, the better. It's going to be a better consistency. Just like the more overripe that a banana is, it's better for banana bread and things like that. So a banana could be your replacement. How about pumpkin? Pumpkin this time of season is oftentimes very popular, and you will also increase your vitamin A because of the large amount of vitamin A that is in pumpkin. So pumpkin, and actually when I've done a taste test with my in-person students, I will make pans of brownies using all of these different alternatives, and the pumpkin is oftentimes the one that they like the best of all of the alternatives. So use a half a cup of pumpkin. I've already mentioned the yogurt. That would be something that you could use. And then one that oftentimes is a vegetable that you could also replace is zucchini. Zucchini will add a lot of moisture to it. So you could have shredded zucchini would be another alternative. And then one that is probably the most unique is black beans. Black beans are high in protein and fiber. Now you would want to use the black beans that are unsalted or salt-free, and also those that are unflavored. You don't want like a smoky or a steakhouse bean. These are black beans that haven't been seasoned and are very plain. Okay, so don't have any kind of extra smoke taste or whatever. And what you would do with this is you would take these and you'd puree them in a food processor, and then put that into your recipe just as you would the oil. So these are a few tips, and I hope you'll try them just as an experiment at your house. I wouldn't, in my class, I do all of these, and then I make the pan as is. You can definitely taste those, but that's oftentimes because people have grown up on those box mixes. So if you early on want to try that, or even if you want to do half and half, 1/4 a cup of the oil and 1/4 a cup of one of these blends of an alternative, and then weasel that oil out in the future, I think your family will get used to the taste. So wanted to give you that little tip, and hope you're enjoying the class. Bye now.